Hey, it's me, Virginia. I am in Fort Worth, Texas right now, waiting in my mom's car while my dad is getting fitted for a new CPAP machine, the things that help you breathe at night. Just wearing some classics. My mom got me this really cool bandana from the Lakota tribe. This is from my friend Elby, and then my dad put a new band on it for Christmas. It has eagles. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I'm laughing because I'm having fun with using random word generator to tell me what my prompt could be for speaking or writing. And, you know, it's almost like an improv kind of thing, because it's like, okay, here's your topic. I'm going to try and open this door. I don't know if it's going to be too loud, but I can tell you I'm going to get, I think that's probably going to be too loud. I'm going to get kind of hot in here, but you'll just see me get a little bit peaked, a little bit red. So yeah, it's almost like improv. Like, okay, here's your prompt. Can you talk on this? It's a good way to put parameters on things for me, because I always have a million things that I could go off about. I don't know if you feel the same. I like this though. So the two words I got was disclose. Always down to do that, to disclose. And then I was not unconsciously meant to do that, but bush was the second word. So of course, I mean, that makes me think about body hair right away. And as some of you know, I do have body hair. I am au naturel. And my take on that is I just want us to live in a world where people can do what they want. Not have to shave or not have to shave, or have to wear makeup or not have to wear makeup. Just that you don't have to do anything body expression wise except for what feels good and authentic to you. So that's kind of been my journey with that, and I just wanted to share a little integration of that I think is cool. So unconsciously in the past, and you know, however you feel about body hair, you can really just apply this to anything that might relate to you about hiding or disclosing things that are genuine to you, or part of you, authentic to you, true to you, whatever. In the past, unconsciously, I just never would have even considered that I had a choice of shaving my armpit hair or my pubic hair or my leg hair. Like, that was growing up in the United States of America as a female in the 1990s and early 2000s. It was just like, that was what you did, unquestioned, in the family and culture that I grew up in anyways. And so it wasn't something I would have, if you had asked me, I would have said, of course I want to do that, you know, but when we're just doing things because it's what everyone does, we don't necessarily know if it's what we want to do or not. There's this unconscious compulsion that I must do this to be liked. So, you know, over time, I started reading a lot of feminist stuff and just coming back into my own like authentic tomboyness. I was much more of a tomboy when I was growing up. And, you know, eventually just started feeling like, for me, and also my skin, super sensitive skin, like in so many ways, I just feel better. I like hair personally. I like body hair. My skin does better. I feel better, like at an animalistic, like instinctual, just genuine level to me. Like, I just like body hair, whether it's on myself or other people. Doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just what it is. Disclosing that, you know, to myself little by little. And having the courage to do it more and more, little by little. And I, for the first time, really grew out my armpit hair and stopped shaving my leg hair when I lived in Australia for a year in 2019. So that was 5 years ago now. Yeah, so I haven't shaved my body hair in pretty much 5 years. And so, you know, it was really hard at first. Like, it was sort of this feeling of almost, and I still feel this sometimes. I'm almost like I have to hide this. Sometimes I don't want people to see that I have armpit hair, especially. My leg hair is pretty, I don't know how well you can see it. You can't, you know, my leg hair is pretty light, so it's not as obvious definitely as my armpit hair. I would say I have more armpit hair than than a lot of guys do. It's kind of like wings, which I love. But so feeling like people wouldn't accept me if they saw that about me, for sure. I never had a fear that like guys wouldn't like me or that would be unattractive to some males. I mean, I knew that many males, especially through like pornography and just mainstream media, would have been culturally conditioned to believe that it was unattractive, even though it's actually just nature that females also grow body hair. But again, like it doesn't, you know, it could be attractive one way or the other, with or without. But just this narrative of like, well, boys won't like you if you have body hair, which is like, that makes no sense because females just naturally grow body hair. But okay. But I was never really scared of that, because I just knew enough that when you get to that level of sexuality, that it's a lot more animal and instinctual and bodily, and that it's our mind and cultural and media conditioning that has told us to not like this, and that at an instinctual level, like, of course we like it, and even at an archetypal or unconscious level, like hair, you know, hair and dreams and hair on the body in many ways archetypally, and you can look this up, or mythologically even, it signifies power. So to have more hair or to be hairy, to a certain extent signifies power and vitality, and that just like makes sense to me. And I love all the like thick lustrous hair that I have at different parts of my body. Why would I want to shave that off, you know? And there have been times that I have, but now that I'm more conscious about it, like at this point I don't want to, and it would also be okay if I do. I just want to make that clear to everyone. I'm definitely not, you know, shaming wanting to shave your body hair too. So just a cool integration though that happened recently. So, you know, most of the time that I have had body hair, I've been with many different people, dating or sexually or whatever since then. And it's always been something that, guys have found attractive for the most part, although I have definitely had guys like tell me that I need to shave in certain ways for better access. That sounds like a you problem, not like a me problem. Also, I'll find someone else. But you know, there have been some things like that, but for the most part, I've been very, very supported in it. And a lot of the culture that I've been in, though, especially like when I recently lived in Chattanooga and in a city, is very progressive. So like lots of hippies, lots of spiritual people, lots of like back to the earth people, lots of, you know, I'm doing ecstatic dance and drumming circles and hanging out with very witchy people in a coven and all of these kinds of things. So it's like very supported, and feel very, not only comfortable disclosing that about myself, like, proud isn't really the right word, but like, oh, this is, it's almost like it's cultural capital, because it's more of a group of outlet. Like it's in a counterculture, it's like cultural capital. So like in, you know, the queer community or the witchy community or the, polyamorous community or the more like spiritual minded conscious communities, it's almost like it's cool to have that because it means that you're more counterculture. So that's great. Versus in the mainstream culture, it's like, ooh, I don't know if I want to show this like woman in line at a department store that I don't shave my armpits. Like that doesn't feel great, you know? So I've been in a lot of kind of countercultures or more spiritual cultures where it's felt not only safe, but like, yes, I want to disclose this because it's cool. Like I want to disclose my whole authentic self, and it makes me weird. And here amongst these people, it's good to be weird. But recently I've moved back to Wyoming. Just stop, full stop. Recently I've moved back to Wyoming, and have been out on a ranch in the middle of nowhere, which I very much want this. I'll have more to say about it if I keep recording videos. But, you know, back to my wildness in that way. And have been spending a lot of time just with not very many people. And I have kissed someone since I've been there. And the last person I kissed basically told me, you know, well, they don't like my body hair. This is like mainstream middle America, rural, God-fearing, hard-working kind of culture. And it's like, and I've been told by this person not to tell other people that I've been like polyamorous in the past or had these kind of experiences, you know, not to have body hair, or not to disclose that. And it's just been really cool and integrative for me, because what's come full circle is in the past, I would have believed that I had to adhere to these mainstream, like media portrayed conformist standards of how to present myself in order to be liked. And then, you know, I stopped doing that, but I was in groups where it was cool to not do that to a large extent. So it might have been like, okay, like, yeah, you're being your authentic self, but make sure that you only do that in these kinds of situations or around these kinds of people. And now it just feels like a really cool full circle thing where I'm like, wait, I can be my full authentic self, disclosing a bush. There's an old guy by the car right now. Or, you know, armpit hair, or that I've been polyamorous, or leg hair, or whatever, just to name a few things. And you can actually disagree with that, or even like tell me in a way that obviously I'm not going to listen to, but that I shouldn't tell people these truths about myself if I want them to like me. Meanwhile, you clearly really like me, even though you don't like these things about me. Like, probably not even just in spite of these things, but because of these things. But I think the full circle that I'm getting to is being able to disclose these things. Yeah.
You want me to open windows? Or?
No, I'm going to come in a second.
Okay. We're in the second room, or to the right.
Okay.
You want to come in?
All right. Okay. That was my mom. She wanted to know if I wanted her to open some car windows, which actually probably, I'm pretty flushed. But that I can disclose these things about myself, be my full self, and realize that like what I was so scared of before, whether consciously or unconsciously, when I felt like I had to conform or hide things, and not that I don't still feel that way in certain ways, but was that like this person is saying those things that I would be most scared someone would say, like, don't tell people those things about yourself or else they won't like you, or that makes you less attractive. And it's just so hollow. It's like, actually, it doesn't make a difference at all. Like, you still like me every bit as much. I'm still getting to be who I am, even though you don't agree. And it's like totally cool and totally fine if there are these things that I find attractive that you don't necessarily agree with. And here we are. So yeah, it just feels cool to, I don't know. I want to wrap this up. I don't want it to be very much longer, but it's kind of something I've thought about too. Just like, it feels like that with maybe more progressive, call it what you will though, honestly, just like views that are different from whatever the main group of people that you're mostly around are, whether they're more progressive views or even conservative views or just weird thoughts or whatever. And it's like, at first you feel like you have to have the same thoughts as everyone else. You don't even realize that you're just unconsciously conforming to whatever's around you. Later, you start breaking out and finding what's genuine to you, whether through, you know, singular experiences or books you're reading or new friends or whatever. And then you feel like you only really feel safe sharing that side of yourself and other people who agree with that, though, at first. At least this is my experience. And then eventually, hopefully, if it's strong and genuine and true, it's going to be something where you can espouse and be authentic in and disclose those beliefs, and also and not have to prove that you're right or change yourself and be around people who disagree with you. And I think that is like, that's the next step that I took. Like in the past, even just a couple years ago, like if someone had like made fun of me for or said that I was unattractive for having like growing my armpit hair out or something, that would have been one of my worst fears. Like I would have hardly been able to handle that. It would have been like, this is what I was afraid of. Like I knew that people were going to think that I was unattractive if I did this. It's like, okay, I mean, your job isn't for everyone to think that you're attractive anyway. Like if you're trying to go down that route, you're probably sacrificing a lot of your authenticity for what the mainstream tells you is attractive. Oh no. But yeah. So getting to that point where now I'm seeing what's authentic to me more, and I can also be around people who disagree with my viewpoints or the way that I'm looking, and realize like, oh, but we're still cool. Like, and even if I'm not what you want or what you would consider normal, or you're saying on some level isn't okay or I should hide, the reality is like, here we still are, like still being cool with each other. So why was I so afraid? Yeah, and of course there are many, many layers to this. I mean, I have white skin. I come from a more affluent background. Like I do identify as queer, but largely like men, and so there are many other layers of this being a lot less safe to be our authentic selves. But I still just wanted to share my experience because it feels really cool to be able to disclose truths about myself in places that I would have just felt unsafe in the past if someone had just like disagreed with me or said that I was less, in their mind, less attractive, less, yeah, we'll just say that for this. And now I'm like, cool, I think I'm more attractive like this. You think I'm less attractive like this. I'm still gonna disclose this and be real and not change anything for you. And if you want to hang out with me, cool. Oh, you still do? Oh, fun. Before I would have thought that I had to like do all these things to myself for you to want to hang out with me. Like that was more important than who I actually am or want to be. Okay, I'm getting super hot, so I am gonna leave this here. If you've had any experiences like this, I would love to hear about them. I think the integration of yeah, just like bodily and artistic expression, emotional experience, spirituality, and the way that these things tie together in real life ways, like that really interests me. So here for it. Okay, bye.